Welcome to Rotary Matters on 92.7 Arrow FM and Wairarapa TV. I'm Marilyn Donna, and over the next hour I'll be bringing you up to date on the activities of Rotary in the Wairarapa, and particularly with my club, Masterton South. And of course we can still say Happy New Year. But for those regular listeners of our program, you will notice that we are actually broadcasting at a rather later date than usual. Normally we had the first Friday of the month, but as it fell on New Year's Day this year, I made an executive decision and said to Michael I would rather postpone it a bit. So here I am, and with me in the studio I have two guests and fellow Rotarians, Rob Cameron and John Murray. So welcome and Happy New Year to you both. John is our 21-22 President-elect, so you'll be taking over the office of the President in, not the President of the United States, John. That would be a trump card for you, wouldn't it? My word, pardon the button. In June, and Rob is our associate district governor or assistant? AG. Assistant. And he's going to tell us all about the upcoming district conference. And then we're going to talk about some of the activities that Masterton South has been involved in over the years. So anyway, first of all, how were the holidays? Are you back refreshed and been all around doing the New Zealand thing?
Yes, yeah. Well, I've been down to the South Island with riding the old Ghost Road and the Paparoa track on a mountain bike.
Where's the Ghost Road?
The old Ghost Road's on the west coast of the South Island, in from Westport.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
On a bike?
On a bike, mountain bike.
My word. How exciting. And was it fascinating or?
Yeah, it's wonderful country down there. It's the old Ghost Road in particular has been recently or developed over probably the last 10 years or so by a private organisation, a trust. And it took us 3 days to do the mountain bike. Stayed out 2 nights. But it's an awesome event. And I think they have about 80 odd people on the track at any one time.
Did you meet any ghosts?
No ghosts.
Oh, what a shame.
Not even an old one.
Not even an old one, no.
And Rob, what about you? You've been around in your caravan?
Been doing a little bit of caravanning and quite a lot of fishing with good success.
Oh, good.
No, we had family at home for Christmas, so we were in the Wairarapa.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's been a quiet but
good one.
Happy one. It's been great.
Yes. Well, I had an auntie Christmas with nephews and nieces galore and all sorts of things like that. But I was up in Taranaki, and one thing that I mention is the Tawhiti Museum. Have you ever been there? It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, fabulous. I've been there 3 times now.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I had been
models there. And
yes, I'd been there many years ago when it first started, but no, I thought they'd done a huge amount to it.
Yeah, I taught at Hawera just for 1 term, and I remember taking my class there. And yeah, that was great.
I believe the guy who was doing a lot of the models was the ex-art teacher at Hawera High.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because my nephew said that. Anyway, getting on to something that's coming up in March in the Wairarapa, and why is it in the Wairarapa, which is the district conference, is that right, Rob?
Yes, it is, Marilyn. We're District 9940, which sort of runs from Hawke's Bay across to Napier and south. So our current district governor, Gillian Jones, is a member of the Wellington Club, but she lives in Greytown, and so it's been her choice to have our conference in the Wairarapa. Last year's conference got cancelled because of COVID. Lane Mohi couldn't hold his one, so hopefully this one will happen. So that's the reason why it's in the Wairarapa, because Gillian lives here and has a big affinity with the Wairarapa.
And does it take place over a weekend, or I know I've been to one up in New Plymouth. There was,
Yes,
went
that's
to.
right. Yeah. No, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Can't remember the dates, but I think it's the
I think it's the 21st, isn't it? 21st of March.
Yeah,
that weekend.
20th. Yeah, so the Friday. Do you want me to just run through
Yes,
what's happening?
you do.
The program has a theme, which is change, and changing our clubs for 2021 and beyond. On the Friday night, we have just a mix and mingle at Cobblestones, and there'll be food trucks there. There'll be a lot of static displays and a lot of people from Cobblestones working and doing the displays and washing clothes and shearing sheep and doing all the things that they do at Cobblestones. So that's really a mix and mingle. Anyone's welcome to come along, and it should be really good. Yeah, there's food trucks, etc. Mm-hmm. Saturday we have some speakers, guest speakers. I think they're starting, according to my little sheet here, they start with Dr. Paul Wood. You may have heard of him. I believe, I hope I'm not wrong, I believe he has spent some time in prison, and while he was there he ended up doing...
Did he write a book?
Yeah,
yes.
A number of degrees.
That's
and
right.
Masterates and even a PhD if he's a
Yes,
doctor.
that's right. Yes, I have heard him interviewed.
Yeah, so he's doing one on what's your prison, what's holding us back from much needed changes, and some club change initiatives. And then we have that's at 9 o'clock, I believe. No, yeah, 9 o'clock. Then we have at 10:15 we have Greg Lang, the Mayor of Carterton, speaking on change within the community. We have Eva Hartshorn-Sanders talking about changing our clubs. How can we change? And then we also have Martin Bosley, changing lives and a practical response.
So they
are Rotarians.
You got any idea which way they're going with those, like changing our clubs and changing our lives?
No. I think it's not. I don't think it's radical changes. I think it's more fine tuning. But we do need to change to keep going and to retain the Rotary numbers that we currently have.
Yeah.
Then on Saturday afternoon, it's free time, and there's a few things we've organised there. There is a wine tour down to Martinborough with a van or a bus provided, and they're going to 3 vineyards. There'll
Rod,
be lunch.
just before you carry on, can I just get you to move yourself a little bit to the left to see whether you will be picked up more on the camera, because at the moment we're only getting half the shot. No, you start talking and we'll see how you go.
My left or...
No, you were right. Yeah, keep going.
Right. So we're doing... there's a vineyard tour.
That's better.
People can book these when you do your registrations, which are online. They're on Club Runner.
Yes, you're there now.
Okay. Centre. Right, yeah. So there's a number of activities. On the Friday, actually, the Friday afternoon before the concert, there's a golf tournament we've arranged at Carterton. So
is that going to be a bit of a competitive thing?
Oh, we're not competitive at all.
No.
But you certainly wouldn't want to lose.
So where's that going to be at Carterton?
That's at Carterton Golf Club, 12 o'clock tee off. Other things on the Saturday afternoon, Gladstone Pub is expecting a few and putting on a lunch. There's Hattenburn Gardens, which are inland from Carterton. They have an amazing gardens, and they put on a pizza, $20 for as much as you can eat. Bring your own drink. They have a lot of artwork spread throughout the gardens. And I'm expecting quite a few people will just wander up there, have a bite and spend the afternoon looking at gardens and artwork. We've got Stonehenge, a tour booked there for people who would like to go to Stonehenge. Then there's also other things like Pukaha, Mount Bruce, Castle Point, Riversdale are only an hour a bit away from Carterton.
And will there be any specific tours out there, or just people will be
these are just
asked to-
self-driving ideas that I'm going to put in.
Yeah,
Lake Ferry Hotel, that's always worth going down to on a
on a
for
nice
a fish
day.
meal or
Yeah,
something. Cape Palliser Lighthouse, Featherston, go to Featherston. It's got a lot of second-hand books and stuff. And Masterton shopping, Martinborough shopping and vineyards. Carterton's got shopping and cafes. So that's on the Friday afternoon. Friday evening there is a dine and dance. No, what is it called? It is called a
Saturday evening.
swing fling dinner.
Is that Saturday evening?
Saturday evening.
Yeah, yeah,
Did I say Friday?
yeah. Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday evening, swing fling dinner.
Oh, is that Scottish?
No, it's not. It's it sounds a bit like.
Sounds a bit like you're a bit of
Yeah,
Cameron there.
should be wearing our kilts,
Yeah.
definitely. You come dressed up as the decade that your club was first became a Rotary club. So some
What
clubs
are we?
will be the 30s, some will be the 40s, some will be the 50s.
We were.
We were the
60,
60s, we're
69,
50.
We're
Yeah,
50 years, aren't we?
yeah, yeah.
69.
So
Just
that's
over 50 years.
so that should be
Oh,
really
swinging
good.
60s. That'd be
Yeah,
quite good. Yes, that'd
absolutely.
be very interesting. Yeah.
We can certainly dress
Put the
up for that.
beehives and the everything.
Yep.
Stovepipe trousers,
Oh.
guys.
And then Sunday there is another couple of speakers. We're also looking at, it's called Changing Our World, and we're looking at ending polio. We're looking at investing in our future, and the Give Every Child a Future program that's currently running as well. And that sort of that goes through till about midday, and then the incoming president, or no, incoming district governor, Mark Wheeler, will formally end the conference and welcome us to his one next year.
Where
So
is he from?
He's from Wellington,
Mm.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, but you can enrol. Registrations are open now. They're on Club Runner. But if you just typed it in,
Yeah.
um,
And are any of the speakers, any of these sessions open to the public, or is it just specifically for
no, it's a
Rotary-
specific Rotarian
Rotarian?
conference.
Yeah.
And we don't have any international speakers because obviously
Mm.
with COVID we can't fly people in and fly people out, because we usually have an Australian or two come along and speak, and they're normally very good. So.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, that is the conference. A lot of work going into it. Accommodation.
Yes, where is everyone going to be accommodated?
Well, Masterton, Carterton, Greytown,
Privately
Featherston.
or with...
Privately, where if you wish to be billeted, you tick a spot on the registration form, and we've got people who are going to billet. There's hotels, motels, Airbnbs, all those sort of things. So there's a number of things on. I believe Solway College has a reunion the same
Yes, I
weekend.
think they do, don't they? Cause,
Yeah,
yes,
because they've sort of got a fair whack of Solway Park taken. But no, the bulk of our, I don't know if I mentioned, we'd set the event centre as where we're holding
In Carterton, yeah.
And the caterers are organised and the drinkers organised, and no, it's coming along well.
That's good.
We'll keep pouring more information out, but you can enrol now and away we go.
Yeah. And, what do you think that you hope that the conference will bring about? You personally, I mean, you sort of go around a lot of the Wairarapa, don't you? So how's I can sort of talk perhaps, or we can speak for our own club, but how's the Wairarapa going as far as Rotary goes?
It's going really well. The numbers our Rotarian numbers are holding. One or two have dropped a little bit. One of the clubs is still increasing its membership. I think we're working together a lot more. We had our guest who's coming to dinner
Yes, that
recently,
was good, wasn't it?
and that was 3 of the clubs.
Yes.
And things like the Martinborough Fair, if they need any help now, they're very keen to ask any other Rotarians like us to go and help. So we seem to be joining in a lot more and stuff. Marston's sticking along. Marston South's fine. Carterton are holding their numbers really well. And South Wairarapa, they're actually increasing their numbers. I think they are the biggest club in the Wairarapa now.
Are they? Yeah.
So, but no.
Are they trying to get younger people, or
always?
Or what? Yeah.
Always. You always try.
You always get this impression that people have of Rotary, that it's, the old men's club sort of thing, don't you?
It's a hard...
It's a hard sell. They don't realise it's... Yeah.
It is changing. I'm sure it's changing. You just look at the clubs, and there is more younger members there now, but it's pretty hard too, because if a young member comes in aged 29 or something like that, they really need other people aged 29 in there to work with and enjoy with and that sort of thing, and it's quite hard. Often we do get someone come along for a while and then they quietly
fade away.
It's just that they're not socially comfortable totally with it, but we're working on it.
Do you think it's more a societal thing that younger generation, I'm not talking the 20s, 40s, are not into clubs as they once were? I
believe so, yes. Yeah, and there's so many things for people to do out there, and doing them, and everybody's doing them, like you at your youngish age, cycling and stuff. Well, when years and years ago, I mean, anyone over 50, there was very few people cycled or anything, and now there is squillions.
It's true.
Very popular. So we seem to be, we're more mobile, I think, is probably one of the biggest things, and we can get around and do things. But it is a generational thing. It really is.
Yeah. So what about you, John? What do you think? How do you think it's going to? Because you'll be taking over from Rob Irwin, our president. So what do you hope to gain from the conference?
Well, I've had a little bit of what they call PETS, President-elect training, and that was one of the things we spoke about at the training was how to make Rotary more relevant for the 2021 and beyond, for today's modern world, and also I think somehow we need to look at our clubs and how they would relate to people in this sort of 45, 50, 55 age bracket, which to realistically probably the people sort of group that we're aiming for, and they may not necessarily want to come and spend every Tuesday night having dinner with us old fogies.
A lot of old fogies. Yeah.
So there may be some need to perhaps establish associated club structures with them, like Rotaract or something similar, which perhaps doesn't have the same strings attached that full Rotary might have, and it would give those people the opportunity to assist the community in the ways that we like to do with various fundraising projects and so on, but perhaps free them up from regular meetings and that sort of thing.
Although the regular meetings are the networking, aren't they, and the social life of the club in a way.
They are. That's right.
In many ways, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of members do get out of Rotary is the camaraderie and the fact that you can spin the wheels with people once a week and just see what they're up to, and you feel part of a group, part of a team.
Yeah.
I think conference too, one of the really important things that comes out of conference is networking. You meet people from New Plymouth to Napier and anywhere in between, and they're all doing different things at their clubs, and there's some great ideas out there that you can beg, borrow, steal, modify for you, or someone says, why don't we do something or other, and you think, oh well, I met Marilyn Donna from the Wanganui Breakfast Club, so you can give her a ring and have a chat about that, and it's really good for networking.
So I suppose with the conference it is true,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally. It's a bit like your pets too.
Yeah.
Pets is really good for networking. You meet all the incoming presidents in your area and stuff.
Mm.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, just going over the dates again. The weekend of the 21st March, and starting on the Friday and finishing on the Sunday, and it'll take place in Carterton mostly. But
the Friday night will be at Greytown at Cobblestones, and then the rest is all at the event centre.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds really good. Okay, well, shall we just take a bit of a break now and get ourselves all sorted out, and we might just listen to a little bit of Peace in the Valley by Johnny Cash. And let's hope it works.
Well, I'm tired and so weary, but I must go along till the Lord comes and calls me away. Oh yes, and the morning's so bright, and the Lamb is the light, and the night is as black as the sea. Oh yes, and there'll be peace in the valley for me someday. Peace in the valley for me. Dear Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There'll be peace in the valley for me. The bear will be gentle, and the wolf will be tame, and the lion shall lay down with the lamb. Oh yes, and the beast from the wild will be led by a little child, and I will be changed from this creature that I am. Thank God. And there'll be peace in the valley for me someday. Peace in the valley for me. Dear Lord, I pray there'll be no sadness, no sorrow, no trouble I see. There'll be peace in the valley for some sweet day.
So there we are. We've just had a bit of peace in the valley, and hopefully we will have peace in the valley in 2021, and we won't have any awful things coming into our valley. So welcome back to Rotary Matters, and you have been listening to Rob Cameron and John Murray and myself talking about the conference of District 9940, which is taking place in March. But we just thought that it'd be quite nice to just go over some of the things that Masterton South Rotary has done over the years. We were just talking about how many years since it became a separate club from Masterton Club, and that was 50 years ago. And I think we've got a very long list. One of the reasons that we've got it on a list was because when Masterton was made the most beautiful city in New Zealand, and we had the district governor of the time came to our Rotary meeting, I thought, well, perhaps he doesn't know just how good Masterton is, so well, let's do a list of things. And of course, I hadn't been in Rotary as long as the others, but I started a list. So if we just go through some of the things that are on this list, we got the kids' own playground. Now, that was started, and Rotary had quite a bit to do with that. John, were you involved in?
No, that predated my term in Rotary. In fact, I think it was late 1999, or in 1999, when they kicked that off. It might have been 2000. So it's just clicked over its 20 years.
Yeah.
And being a wooden structure, we understand that it actually has a use-by date of 20 years. So it's wound up already. But it's been a wonderful resource for Masterton and for the families, and you can go down there pretty well any time of the day and night. Not quite at night, but there's always somebody using it. And one of our responsibilities has been to restain the wood every 3 to 5 years, which we've done pretty religiously. And so as a consequence of that, it's lasted remarkably well. There's a few signs of age starting to creep in, but generally speaking, it's perfectly safe, and as I say, used by thousands of families and kids through the year.
And you had some wood cutting jobs done on it just recently too with the trees. Is that round there, or was that the mini golf?
No, well, we've done quite a bit of tree cutting. We did some tree cutting at the Kids Cycle Skills Park, just lifting the trees up so that we got to get a bit more visibility there. But also Rob Cameron, the other Rob Cameron, he's in charge of mini putt, and they took out some big old trees which were sort of overshadowing the mini golf area there, and causing quite a lot of mess on the whatever you call them, fairways, putting greens.
Yes.
And as a consequence, they've tidied up the gardens, and that looks really smart now.
Yeah,
looks really
that's good, isn't it? Yeah. Because it's really it's a lovely area, isn't it? Because you've got now the little Littleys bike path, haven't you? And yes,
well, that was a major project we did a couple of years ago. It wound up last year, but we put quite a lot of money into that, and we essentially, for people who don't understand what it is or where it is, it's as you come into Masterton from the north. Before you go to the roundabout, turn on just on the left-hand side as you go into Dixon Street, on the left there and underneath the trees. And there's a whole circuit of different little sealed roadways, and we have a whole range of road signs there, which, and the idea is basically to familiarise young kids particularly with road signs and get them familiar with pedestrian crossings and stops and giveways and so on. Until recently we did have a bit of a problem with vandalism, but I think, touch wood so far,
since you were here,
we seem to have avoided that recently.
That's good.
So that's
excellent.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's a really good facility. And of course, also following on from that, we've done a bit of work in the on the park, in the island in the park, haven't we, Rob? You've been involved with that, haven't you?
Yeah, that's pretty well finished now.
Looks good too. And you've got lights at night too across the bridge.
Yes. Yeah. No, it gets used a lot now, and there's picnic tables over there.
And the train's going every day, you hear it. Yeah.
The train is going a lot, especially over the Christmas period, and I have been speaking to them, and the steam train is basically all set to lift over now. So
okay.
That'll be pretty spectacular.
That'd be brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, no, the Park Island is amazing, and people are using it so much for picnicking and just walking around. It's lovely. There's the statue donated by the Coburns from Breadcraft, and it's all looking very good. It's
a lovely area, isn't it? Of course, with the mini golf and the bike hire, because it's 25 years now that was put in, and that was a Rotary, one of our projects, wasn't it? Yeah. And sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say on that mini putt, it has been in for quite a while. In fact, some of the surfaces are starting to show a wee bit of wear. So one of our major investments this year will be to resurface the mini putt area.
And of course, any fundraising that's done always goes back into into whatever the, in the community produce.
Every single dollar that Rotary raises goes back into the community. Yeah.
And of course now we can't call it the car boot anymore because it's the Rotary Sunday Market, and that's been going a while too, hasn't it?
It has. I think that started in 1983.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And was originally set up in what we now know as Farrier's car park, and they operated there for a while, and then eventually they moved it down to the RSA car park. So it's been running very successfully there, and as you alluded to just now, for various reasons we've decided to change the name from Car Boot to the Rotary Sunday Market, just to give it a slightly more clear indication of what it really is.
It is, yeah.
It's no longer sort of a car boot as such, but it's been a major fundraiser for Rotary for many years, and coming up in February or March, we're not sure yet, but we understand that the council are planning to resurface that car park, the RSA car park, so we're going to have a temporary period of moving the Sunday market from there back up to the Farrier's car park, but we'll give everybody plenty of notice about that. So,
any idea for how long, John?
Well, it depends how long the work's going to take, but I would have thought probably a month or perhaps a bit more.
Shouldn't take more than that, surely.
No, I wouldn't have thought so once they get onto it. But they're going to do it in two sections, 2/3 initially, and then the second third.
Yeah.
But it'll be weather dependent and so on. But there's quite a lot of major work going in with new lighting and resurfacing and so on.
So that's another big one. Then not a fundraising, but one that we're really involved in, and right throughout the Wairarapa is the food bank in November, isn't it? That does. Yeah, so
food bank's been
you know about what's going on down the south. What's happening?
Yeah, they're exactly the same down the south. Wairarapa.
Did they do well?
They did very well. This year was a record year for collection for all areas, as far as I know. We had a broiler here in Marston, and it was amazing,
wasn't it? Yeah.
And we're always supported. Wairarapa College send children from the hostel along to assist. The ambulance, fire, police all help. So it is a biggie, and we almost got a third more than last year. I think it was an amazing amount.
Is it? Do either of you know whether it is done anywhere else apart from the Wairarapa? Have you heard of it being done through the other Rotary clubs?
I think it's done
generally. Yeah.
Am I?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You don't hear of Wellington or anything having a food bank appeal. They have food banks, but they don't.
I think in a lot of areas they work it commercially. So there's NGOs who
do that way
to pick up food from supermarkets and so on.
It's really a very much. I remember sort of the first time I was really involved, apart from standing at the gate with my bag of goodies. But once I started with Rotary, just how the whole population of Masterton gets really behind it.
They do, and I think that's a special feature of Masterton's food bank appeal is the fact that the whole community is behind it.
And you have the littlies out at the gate with their pyjamas on, holding a bag,
And you only see that when you're driving around with your 2 or 3 school kids in the vehicle with you, and watching the families come out. And the interesting thing is that some of the more generous people are people who you would think would be struggling
themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, that's quite right.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing, and very well organised too. Then now we sort of keep going down the list, and we've got the Forestry block income. Now that was a project that was started with Malcolm Brown. Yeah, tell me about that, Rob. You might know about it.
No, I don't know an awful lot about it. Probably John may know more.
You know more about it?
But it was a project, a forestry. Malcolm Brown was a member of our Rotary Club, and I'm presuming he was planted in an area of forestry, and he said to the club, would you like to put in an area of trees? It's a long-term investment. And so that has happened, and they've sold very well probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
And so some of the money has been spent already on the netball courts. But no, there is still quite a bit of money involved left that we will earmark for a project somewhere along the way.
Yeah. John, you?
Yeah, it all happened before I became a member as well. But as Rob says, Malcolm Brown was a member of the club, and he farmed up the Whangahu Valley Road, and it was only an area of about less than 3 hectares, just a small area, which he said, look, it's difficult for him to manage, but if we like to put the trees in and tend them, he would be happy for us to use the land. So it was a very generous offer. And one of our members, Steve Wilton, is in Forest Enterprises, so he had expertise. And over the years, they tended the trees, and they took them out approximately 30 years after they were planted. And so it's been great to be able to use those funds in the community.
That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a considerable amount of money too.
Yeah, that was brilliant. And I think, if I remember rightly, it was right at the right time.
It was, absolutely
sort of
at the peak.
within a few months of it being the right time. The next section that I've got on the list here is to do really with school children and babies. And if I just read out what there's reader assistance at the intermediate school, the intermediate speech competition, books for babies, and dictionaries for schools. Would either of you like to talk about that, or should I say something about that?
Yeah, well, the reader assistance is something that...
It's been going forever, hasn't it?
It has been going for a long time, and we've mainly done that up at Marston Intermediate School. Robert Young, he's one of our members, coordinates that. And basically it's volunteers, Rotary volunteers, who sit down with kids who sometimes are struggling with their reading, and it gives kids the opportunity to just read aloud to an adult and have that direct one-on-one. And I guess it's not just about the reading, it's about listening to the kids and hearing
it's quite
about
a
their family
mentoring
life.
thing, isn't it? I think.
Very much so.
Very much role model mentoring.
Yes.
Yeah, and the readers do take quite an interest in the children too. They form quite a bond.
It's lovely, isn't it? It goes for a couple of terms, I think, doesn't it? Or
At
3
least.
terms. 3 terms.
I think three.
Three terms, and that's once a week, which is
On a Thursday, every Thursday morning.
That's great. The intermediate speech competition, that's run, and I don't think it was run last year, if I remember, because of the dreaded COVID, but that is sponsored by Rotary. Books for babies. Now, this is something possibly a lot of people don't know, that every baby that's born in the Wairarapa, in the Masterton, gets a book.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure whether other Rotary clubs are involved, but Russell Carthew in our club, he used to own Paper Plus, and I think he was the one who initiated this one.
Yeah.
And so every new mother or parent, parents are presented with a baby, with a book for their baby, presented with a baby, yes. So the idea is to introduce babies with some books and reading and so on.
And then a bit further on, you get the dictionaries for schools, and they get that when they're in year, Rob, help me out.
4.
4. Yes, that's right.
All children in the Masterton
and outlying areas
and
too,
like
Wainuiru,
Alfreton and Wainuiru, Morrisville, Fernridge, they all get a dictionary. Yeah, and they love it. It's great.
And they're great dictionaries.
Oh,
I mean, it's not like the old dictionary that only have pages of words.
It's illustrated.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, and just going back to the books for babies, we've also along the way assisted financially a group that does quilts for babies as well.
Oh, that's right.
There's a group that try and give every baby that's born in the Wairarapa a quilt to take home, and batting and all that sort of stuff's quite expensive, so we've assisted with them.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
So we can go on to the Millennium Reserve, which is a sort of a hidden gem in the Masterton, and I don't think people just know just how nice that is. But that's been we've sort of sponsored a lot of work and planting and that, haven't we, over the years, and looking after it with a part of the committee that runs
I think
it.
There's always a Rotary member on the Millennium Reserve Trust committee, and I think it involves planting occasionally, putting new trees in and clearing tracks, and there's quite a network of walkways through it. And if some people might not even know where it is, but it's on the corner of Pownell Street and Hillcrest Street, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely in there. Yeah,
beside the old trout hatchery.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and of course the mobile medical clinic, which we had a lot of publicity about. There was the International Committee, and Rob, did you go to Rarotonga? And
yes, I did. I went when they were when it was being presented. It's actually apparently being used a lot with COVID testing as well.
Is it?
I was talking to Rob Irwin recently, and they've it's set up to do a lot of COVID testing, so it can cruise around the island, the main island from Avarua around, doing COVID testing. So it is getting used.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
excellent.
No, it's going well. And I don't think they've had, for a while it was very difficult. They had mechanical problems and things, and we had to get bits out from New Zealand. They were mainly actually tech stuff like internet and GPS and that sort of thing. But I think that's all sorted out now, and it's being used a lot.
So that little project there, Marilyn, is a good example of how Rotary International can assist in a project.
Yeah. Would you like to talk about?
Well, I don't know a huge.
I know that it was $1. No, it was $1 for $1 or something. What was the story?
I think it was 2 to 1.
Was it 2 to 1?
Yeah, 2 to 1.
Yeah, it was 2 to 1, and so we raised a reasonably considerable amount here in the Wairarapa, but it was.
And then from other Rotarian
internationally, they contributed, and that we were.
I know it was a huge financial thing to have to sort of go through it all, and all the applications and the.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were very lucky. We had a lady from Auckland came down and helped us fill it in. I think it was 161,000.
I think that was what it was.
And in actual fact, I'm not sure, but we put in. I'm guessing maybe about 15,000, and other clubs.
Joined in.
And we ended up with 50,000, and then if you get a 2 to 1 on that, you're up to 150,000, and we had to have an international club, and one in Australia also was our international club associated. So it was a lot of toing and froing and a lot of work filling everything out. But it happened, and it was very happened quickly.
The other thing in terms of that project too that we should recognise is that Paul Snellgrove from Transit gave us a very good deal on providing a bus. And that was really. An excellent contribution.
That was
totally, and it was freighted free over there. I mean, that's very. Goodness knows what freighting a bus would have cost, but it would have been a lot.
So, what about how we're getting down a bit? What about Pukaha Mount Bruce? Rob, you've been involved with that, haven't you?
We haven't got a lot of involvement there, our Rotary Club at the moment, but it's ticking along well. They lost Manakura the other day, their white kiwi, which was all rather sad. But no, we haven't. We're not involved financially at the moment, but we certainly have put in a lot of money over the years to different projects at Mount Bruce, and it is one of the big tourist attractions in the Wairarapa. It's going really well.
And over the page, the phone alert. Now that was before my time, but that was a money sort of. We got a lot of fundraising from that, didn't we? Is that right?
Well, it was a phone alert. It was it's like
a medical
alert. And if someone had a medical issue, they could hit the button or however it came, and we owned. And
it was manned by Rotarians, wasn't it?
It was initially, yes. And we proceeded from there. But then I think the government changed the rules and it all had to go through maybe just 2 organisations doing it, so we ended up selling ours. But it was a very good money spinner. It was a very good community project. So we've also recently, I remember, just funded some locator beacons or whatever you want to, for people who at rest homes and things who perhaps get a bit disorientated or something.
That's right, yes.
That came up in the last year or 18 months.
Yes.
Because that's becoming quite an issue as well. So we've funded an awful lot of health things over the years.
And the ERCs are another one too. The
ERCs, yes.
Emergency response kits that, if anything, they're in Auckland, aren't they? They're just sort of in there, and if anything happens in one of the islands or anywhere, they...
Yes, well, I was reading up about those because I wasn't too sure exactly what our involvement with ERCs was, and apparently it was Rotary's involvement with ERCs, or they developed the idea way back in 1983, and it was the Eastern Hut Rotary Club that kicked it off. And basically what's involved there is they have a big, I don't know, must be a 50-litre bin, and they've just stocked it with a whole lot of different pieces of equipment and rescue gear and tents and stuff that can be used in the event of a
emergency,
a weather event or something like that. And we fundraise every year at $600 a time, so we might buy 3 or 4 ERCs for our club, and if everybody does that, they provide sufficient. But a couple of years ago, I think they used 1,000 in 1 year. So
was that with the tsunami and some of the islands? Yeah.
Oh, they're an amazing thing. I pity we haven't got the list and we could sit down and read it out now, but probably take you ages. I think they almost have like fish hooks and everything in it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and an interesting thing too, they are sitting up in Auckland at the moment, X number of these boxes, and if there is a predicted weather issue, they fly them out before the event actually happens. If you see there's going to be a hurricane or something going to go through Vanuatu or somewhere, they try and get a whole lot there before the event, so they can get straight on the ground.
Yeah. So, John, you've got your little list there. Have you got some more things at the bottom there?
Yes. Oh, one thing I did note here is that this year, 2021, it's 100 years since Rotary started in the world. So we'll be recognising that, and one of the big things they want to try and nail this year is polio throughout the world. And I think they're very close. They're within a whisker of being able to eliminate polio.
Because there was a train journey for that just a little while ago, wasn't it, Rob, in November? You were on that?
It was. Ride the train for polio.
Ride the train, yeah.
Second year it had been. That's great.
How much money do you reckon?
Haven't heard yet.
No.
Around about 30,000, I think.
Really? And that was just in from Palmerston?
Yep, from Palmerston to Wellington.
And back up to the Wairarapa?
And yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, one lot came from Palmerston and went down and back.
Yeah.
And the Wairarapa people went down and back from Marston.
And how did it work?
Well, you go around every station between Palmerston and Marston. For the Wairarapa people, we started at Marston and we went through Solway and all the stations there, and then we got onto the Johnsonville line and went out to there. Then we went on to Paraparaumu or somewhere like that, and then we did the Melling line. And
did you just get off at the station and...
No, not really. There was
hold your buttocks or something?
No, you weren't allowed. They wouldn't allow us to do that. But but some of the Rotary clubs were at the stations, and they were supporting it. So you went to every station. I think there's 63 stations.
Yeah.
Wearing your bright red
t-shirt. Bright red t-shirt. Yeah.
Absolutely, the mocha.
Oh, excellent.
I mean, we're not at liberty at this stage to talk too much about
what's coming up during the year.
But we as a club, we're going to be organising a show for a popular recreational activity, shall we call it?
Yeah.
That's going to come up in November this year. But we'll be able to announce more details about that in a little while. But we're very much in the planning stage at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I think it just shows. I mean, I think it's amazing because, as I say, people just often think, oh, Rotary, you just sit around and have a guest speaker and don't realise just particularly what's been put into the town, but not just the town, but right out into the into New Zealand and overseas, and I mean, there's all sorts of things. There's the bikes being given for somewhere, and we sponsored scholarships to Spirit Adventure.
We do Spirit and we do Outward. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So we do. We sponsor students to go on those.
I guess it's a good opportunity to ask if there's anybody out there who'd be keen to come and join us. To come along and make themselves known, and we can talk with people about what's involved, and it would be nice to see them, and
because it's a social club too, and I mean
very much so.
Well, we our particular club, Marston South, we have our Rotary singers. We have
that's right. We go out and do gigs.
So they're going to be performing at the conference.
Oh, that's right. We're doing that on Friday night, aren't we? Oh, yes. We have to get our voices ready for that.
No, just the 4 clubs on the Wairarapa. There's 3, which is Marston South, Carterton and South Wairarapa. They're all evening clubs. And then Marston Club is a breakfast club. And they meet at 7 o'clock or start, 7:15.
Yeah.
Have their meetings there. So we sort of cater. We don't have a lunchtime club, which some areas do have lunchtime.
It used to, didn't it? Because I remember when Dad was in Masterton. Yeah, there was because he was often accused of being a bit like one of our members who, once the meal was over and listening to the speaker, he often used to doze off in the middle of the heat of the day.
Can't believe it. So no, it would be good. We do a lot of activities, have a lot of fun. It's really good fellowship, and there is a diverse population.
Mixture, there is. Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, that's
probably not the right thing to say. We have a diverse population.
You and I represent the third category.
No, it's good. It's a lot of fun. I've only been a Rotarian 10 years, and I love it.
And have you found being AG that this has given you another whole dimension of what Rotary is? Do you finish up this year? Yeah.
I do. I've had 3 years as
3?
AG.
Yeah.
This is my last year. Being AG has been really good. You're the sort of go-between all the clubs. They also ring you if they have an issue, and so I've got to think or put them on to someone who knows how to solve a particular problem. But no, I've really enjoyed it. It's been, and I think the clubs are getting closer together in the Wairarapa at the moment, which is what I hoped would happen.
Yeah.
So no, we're just organising our next AG now. So we'll let you know shortly.
Yeah. And John, you're looking forward to 3-4 months, and then you're
yes, I am looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a challenge, but
you got lots of good ideas.
I've got a few good ideas, and there's another President-elect training program coming up in March, so we'll be able to hone a few more ideas out then. But I'm particularly keen to try and reach out into the community a bit more and see if we can get a few more, a little more diversity in our membership, and perhaps some younger members and some members who perhaps we might not normally expect to attract. But we need to be doing things perhaps differently, and looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, make ourselves a bit more attractive.
Yeah, but I suppose, a bit more, perhaps not attractive, but a bit more out there so that people do know, and I think all the Rotary clubs can take a bit of a pat on the back for what people don't realise is being done for the community, because, if it wasn't for them, it just wouldn't happen.
Not good at advertising what we do, really. We tend to do a project and it gets done, whereas we should put it through the media and just let people see what we're doing.
Yes, that's true.
We're a bit shy.
But it's been fun. It's certainly fun being involved with Rotary, and it's not all work by any means. It's,
No, that's
it's
for
all
sure.
good fun.
No, it's been a lot of fun. Oh, well, thank you, John and Rob, for your input, and all the best for conference, and all the best for, I'm sure we'll be talking to you before or sometime during your presidential year.
Tenure.
Tenure,
doubt.
that's the word. Yes, it's tenure. Well, you have been listening to Rotary Matters, which is broadcast usually on the first Friday of the month. It's podcast, and it is replayed on the first Saturday of the month. So that'll be on the 16th this time. And I'm Marilyn Donna. Thank you for listening, and thank you to my guests, and do hope that the summer continues and we all continue smiling in our fortress island of 5 million. Thank
Yes.
you.
I hope so. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you, Marilyn.